What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao in Taipei, and you're watching TaiwanPlus. The search is still on for the last missing person after a deadly factory explosion in Pingtung. As crews comb the site, relatives of survivors ask if more could have been done to prevent the disaster. John Van Trieste has this report.
In the burnt ruins of this factory in Pingtung, search and rescue teams have found the remains of 9 people, both workers and firefighters sent to rescue them. The rescue efforts are not yet finished. One person is still missing after the explosion and fire that tore through the site on Friday and Saturday. But while the search continues, there are questions and blame. Over 100 people, many of them factory workers, are injured. The factory's owners say their fire alarms should have helped prevent this from happening.
警报器有侦测到它自动响，然后当然警报器都是它是一个非常标准的流程。像我听到我也有跑出去。
But the factory had a history of being fined for labor and safety violations. Some survivors' relatives doubt the company followed protocol. Then there's the question of government responsibility. The Labor Ministry is launching a probe into the fire, but the Economy Ministry was in charge of inspections at the site, leading to speculation that some officials may be trying to shift blame.
在我们的科技产业园区里面的劳检是我们经济部的加工出口区来做劳检，那并没有说在背黑锅。
The factory owners have apologized and promised to set up a relief fund for survivors. But how much they'll offer is unclear, as is what caused the fire, whether it was preventable, and who might face the legal consequences. Eason Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Separately, a gas explosion in Tainan has left 8 migrant workers with serious burns. Security camera footage shows the group fleeing the building after an explosion inside. It's believed a gas canister exploded while the workers were cooking. Tainan's fire department is investigating the exact cause of the blast. A man has died during the annual Sun Moon Lake Swimming Carnival in Nantou County. The 25-year-old was about 100 meters into the swim when he waved for help. He was taken to a nearby hospital but pronounced dead shortly after. The 3-kilometer swim across Taiwan's largest lake has been held every year since 1983. It's part of events marking the Mid-Autumn Festival. 24,000 people took part this year, including former President Ma Ying-jeou. Civic groups in Taiwan have launched a Tenants Alliance, calling on renters to act collectively to clean up the country's shadowy rental market. Rick Lau reports.
Rents are rising in Taiwan. They've reached record highs for the last 25 months in a row, putting pressure on the country's millions of renters.
我租到的房子很贵，可是我租到的物件就是个莫名其妙的物件，比如说顶楼加盖。
那我朋友是住学校附近，然后可能才5、6平，然后12000。
Civil society groups blame this on Taiwan's unregulated market. They say as many as 90% of landlords rent out apartments and rooms without registering with the government and declaring income. It leaves renters unprotected by local laws and unable to get government subsidies. Now, these concerned groups are launching a Tenants Alliance, and they want to create a publicly accessible database on Taiwan's rental situation.
市场没有透明的话，政府推的再多的补助，那个都是治标不治本。
Taiwan's Interior Ministry has been prosecuting landlords for not following regulations and avoiding taxes, and claims the market is becoming more transparent. It also says it is doing what it can to bring down rents by building more social housing and boosting subsidies. But that's not enough as far as the Tenants Alliance is concerned. They want their new database to hold both the government and landlords to account and give more power to the country's renters. John Su and Rick Lowett for TaiwanPlus.
The head of Taiwan's indigenous submarine program says it hopes to deploy 2 of these vessels by 2027. Taiwan's first ever domestically built submarine is set to hit the water in late September. The submarine is part of the country's efforts to modernize its armed forces, but it has drawn criticism for its high cost. Taiwan has already committed $95 million to the design. The country plans to build 8 submarines under this program. Taiwan's digital ministry says it's pushing to set up a backup satellite communications network. In an interview with conservative U.S. publication National Review, Digital Minister Audrey Tong said that Taiwan is trying to build over 700 satellite transmission sites. The aim is to ensure that the country can communicate with the outside world in the event of an emergency or conflict. Her comments come after internet cables connecting some of the country's outlying islands were damaged back in April. Taiwan has been looking at alternative options to Elon Musk's Starlinks due to his close ties with China. Taiwan has already signed a deal with UK satellite network provider OneWeb to help with this effort. Now, Taiwan's push to strengthen its connectivity and digital resilience is partly motivated by lessons learned from the war in Ukraine. To find out more, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Alessio Patalano, a security analyst at King's College London.
One of the lessons that Taiwan is learning from Ukraine is this importance of connectivity and not to rely solely on one provider like Starlink, for example. And the digital minister, Audrey Tang, is urging to prioritize this push. How significant is this plan to create a backup satellite network?
I think in relation to the fact that Starlink was an important enabler, but also became a vulnerability the moment then Elon Musk, for example, decided not to provide support in case of operation in Crimea out of his own decision. So I think the fact that in the comments she pointed out as that one of the lessons that Taiwan needs to keep at the back of its mind, I think it's a really symptomatic of the fact that Taiwan has absolutely the right person at the right point in time to think about this. Distribution of access, this capacity, particularly from a normative point of view, from a legal point of view, having familiarity with providers of connectivity in different countries enhances your resilience by reducing the vulnerability of depending on a single network, but more importantly, having multiple choices.
Taiwan has already signed a deal with a UK satellite provider as part of this effort to have 700 of these satellite transmission sites so the country can stay connected. But what more needs to be done?
Let's focus on the first two, which are the most important. One, that element of having access to multiple networks is something that, particularly in times of crisis, is going to be particularly important. The more sites you have that allow you to bounce from one network to another, again, it's part of your defenses, and it's important because, as we've learned from Ukraine in times of crisis, that kind of redundancy is important not just for the connectivity, but also for military planning and the conduct of military operations.
That was Alessio Patalano, a security analyst at King's College London, speaking to our reporter Jaime Ocon. 3 more of Taiwan's diplomatic allies have called for the country's inclusion in the United Nations during the General Assembly in New York.
Taiwan's quest for participation in relevant specialized agencies of the United Nations is reasonable and ought to be accommodated.
The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with leaders from Belize and St. Kitts and Nevis, urged for Taiwan's participation in their respective addresses. That makes a total of 11 out of Taiwan's 13 diplomatic allies who have raised the issue at this year's summit. The UN continues to follow China's demands to exclude Taiwan, which has led some analysts to question the UN's credibility. Meanwhile, the United Nations has said its human rights rules should apply to artificial intelligence. The UN's tech envoy says that governments are responsible for ensuring AI does not cause harm. There is still no clear, universal way to regulate the rapidly evolving technology, which is mainly being developed by the private sector. The UN says it will put out recommendations addressing problems of biased algorithms and incomplete data sets by the end of this year.
So it creates a kind of, it's not just a moral authority, but it's create a kind of pressure, a compliance pressure for living up to whatever commitments you may sign up on AI.
Over 1,000 refugees have crossed into Armenia from Nagorno-Karabakh amid fears of ethnic cleansing. Many people in the area have been displaced after Azerbaijan launched a military offensive in the disputed territory, home to mainly ethnic Armenians. That fighting has ended following a Russian-brokered ceasefire. Though Nagorno-Karabakh is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, the area has its own de facto government, and those fleeing say they will not live under Azerbaijani rule.
Нет, никто не вернется, все. Мы закрыли эту тему карабахскую навсегда, наверное.
Back in Taiwan, authorities are warning about a new online scam. We have this report.
Get paid for watching some videos? Sounds too good to be true. And it is.
It's a new scam appearing on Taiwan's social media. Fraudsters post ads for the scheme on various platforms, drawing in victims.
使用赖假冒投资公司之客服人员，以诈骗的话术诱使被害人加入投资群组。被害人进行投资后，会以小额出金方式取得被害人信任。
With that trust, victims put even more money into the scheme. But in the end, those investment funds are stolen, along with the victim's personal information. Police in the central city of Taichung have caught the scammers, even one who tried to escape out a window. The 6 suspects face up to 3 years behind bars if convicted. Scams like this tend to target younger people who may not be as wary about digital fraud.
有趣的好玩的，或者是有一点陷阱的话题议题的话，他们就会掉进去，就看一下。
网络影音太发达吧，所以他们有可能就容易会去信这个，而且现在比较多是有点像冒用网红或者是 YouTuber 的身份去做剪辑产出的影片。
Authorities are urging internet users to be on alert when looking at online ads, especially any that seek investment. Taiwan has won its first gold medal at this year's Asian Games in China. Yang Yongwei defeated his South Korean opponent to take the top prize in the men's 60-kilogram judo event. It's not only Taiwan's first ever gold in that category, it's also the country's 100th gold in the game's history. Taiwan has won 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze medals at the Games so far, placing 7th in the medals table. An art exhibition in Taipei is showing off the work of young students with disabilities. Jeremy Olivier has more.
Giving young talent a chance to shine. These paintings were all made by students with special needs. Over 100 of their works are on display at an exhibition in Taipei. One of the young artists is Lin Anping, who won top prize for his brightly colored, imaginative renditions of the night sky. Anping has reduced vision, which makes it hard for him to see the subject of his paintings. But he says with the support of his teacher, he was able to paint something unique.
平时没办法看清楚星星和月亮的我，花了1个学期，老师教我。
Taipei's education department organized the exhibition, selecting works by students from 4 special needs and regular schools around the city. Out of 17 long-listed paintings, they awarded special prizes to just 4. The teachers say the key to fostering talent is giving students the space to let their creativity flow.
特别会观察细节的，或者是他对于色彩是非常敏锐的，那或者是他是能够看到物体观察后，能够非常大胆，而且是具有特色的，把它再现在画纸上的。好，我们就会尽量给他空间以及充足的时间。
There are around 110,000 students with disabilities in Taiwan's school system. While some are placed in special education settings, most learn alongside their non-disabled peers in regular classrooms. There, they may not get the kind of support and attention they need to thrive. Events like this exhibition show that with the right encouragement, special needs students can release their inner artist. Yisun Pan and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. For more stories from us, check us out on social media like YouTube or Twitter. Finally, enjoy these shots from an ancient Guatemalan city. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.